The purpose of this video is to explain economic order quantities that work right along with the quantity discount model. Displayed in front of you is example 12.2, where we're going to work through a quantity discount. So assume that we have a demand of 5,000 units with ordering costs of $49 and holding costs of 20% of price. So sometimes in economic order quantity models, the H is just given, as it was in the last problem where H equals something. But in some problems, H is given as a percent of the price. In this problem, because it's a quantity discount model, H is given as a percent of the price. However, it isn't always given like that. Sometimes it's given as H. So you'll notice here that I went ahead and calculated H as a percent of the price of the units here. So because they didn't just give it to me straightforward, they said it's 20% of price. So I went ahead and noted that here, 0.2 times P, and then I calculated in here 0.2 times $5, because if I buy between 0 and 999, I get this discount on the price of the unit. This is an important thing to note, because in previous models, when we were doing the economic order quantity, we didn't really pay attention to price, but we have to pay attention to price now because all of a sudden price matters. Before, price was not a variable that mattered because the economic order quantity model is designed to minimize holding costs and ordering costs. It doesn't really include price, but now when we can have discounts, it violates one of the assumptions of the economic order quantity model, in that it said no discounts were available. So now we have to take another step. So laid out in front of you is the critical information, the annual demand, which is 5,000, S, which is 49, and then H, which is 20% of price. And so I've gone ahead and calculated the H for these different quantities. So the first thing we need to do is calculate the economic order quantity at the non-discount price. And so that's just going to be at the highest price. So in our case, it's going to be $1 for the H. Should we go ahead then and fill in our economic order quantity model at 2 times the annual demand of 5,000 times 49, which is the S cost, and we're going to divide that by, we could put in 1, but I'm just going to put 0.2 times 5, just so you can see where I got that from. And this is going to equal 700. So the economic order quantity to minimize ordering costs and holding costs is 700 units to be ordered each time we order. So that would place us in this first category right here. So we go ahead then and calculate total cost, very much like we did on the previous page. However, now we're adding in this new part, and that is this PD right here. It's price times demand, because now we have to consider the price for each of these units. So we can fill out our total cost model down here, similar to what we did on the previous page, but we need to include the price. So we'll just go ahead and calculate then the total cost given the highest cost items, or the $5 items. So you can see here I filled in the prices, I have filled in the various pieces of information. We have the annual demand divided by the EOQ times the shipping cost right here. And then we have the EOQ divided by 2 times the holding cost right here. And then we've got 5, which is the price, times the annual demand. And so you can see that this will add up to 25,700. So we're going to put that right up here in the total cost, 25,700. And now we're going to go on and we're going to calculate this for the next price break, because if we were to purchase between 1,000 and 1,999, we get the thing a little bit less expensively, right? We now pay $4.80 for the unit instead of $5. So now what we're going to do is go back into this model right here and change out these things that I mark with the red. So we're going to change out the Q, because now instead of ordering the economic order quantity of 700, we're going to order 1,000, because then we can get the price break. So now that first part of the equation will look slightly different. And here I've gone ahead and filled in the numbers. So take a quick look here. I the 5,000 stays the same as before, but notice the 1,000 is different than the 700 because we have to go up and order the lowest amount possible to get the discount. And then we change the 700 to 1,000 here. And then we also change the price, so, excuse me, the H, because now we're only going to pay 96 cents for our H as opposed to before we were paying $1. And then we add on our P times D, where we've got $4.80 times 5,000. For this, we should end up with something like 24,725, which, as you can see, is a little bit less than the previous amount. So we're going to put that up here, 24,725. And now what I would like you to do is go ahead and calculate the new cost if we were to get the price break of 2,000. So now we're going to do total cost for 2,000. And we're going to change out every place we have 1,000, we're going to switch that for 2,000. Because if we order 2,000, we get a significant price break, or at least some price break. So we want to see if it might be cheaper to order at 2,000 each time instead of ordering only 1,000. Now our H cost is only 0.95. It doesn't go down that much, so it might not really matter all that much. But we pay $4.75 per unit now for our 5,000 units. So we end up then with 24,822. So notice then that this one is the cheapest. So this would then be the one that we would want to purchase. So we would want to purchase in quantities. So we want to say here, because it minimizes total cost to order in quantities of 1,000, then while our economic order quantity may be 700, what we'd really like to do is order in batches of 1,000. So let's go ahead and write that out. So basically, ordering in batches of 1,000 minimizes the total cost for the year. Even though the economic order quantity was originally calculated at 700, we find that it's better to order in batches of 1,000 rather than in batches of 700. So that's how the quantity discount model works. So it would be a good idea to practice this model by doing problem number 12-14. I don't know why the 4 didn't show up there. And this problem kind of goes over this same exact concept again for you. Okay, I hope you found that helpful, and stay tuned for the last video, which is going to be on reorder points.